I apologize if the clips I use in these reviews seem oddly short or just weird or something, but Universal hates me giving them good reviews apparently, so maybe I just wait for this one. I also apologize for the sun, it is on me at the moment, so I apologize for the lighting. Hey guys, Blazie here, and welcome to my review of DragonHeart 4, the Battle of Heartfire. Boy do I have a lot to say about this one. Within the first minute of the film, I had already written over a page of notes. So prepare your butts, we're going in deep. I don't know why I said that. This movie starts off the worst way possible. Baby's being birthed. Ill. But a baby is born with scales, so there's a mystery here. Also, this is apparently edited by Chuck frickin' Norris, so there's that. It's not him, though, sadly. I apologize for this lighting right now, I really do, but this is the only time I can film this. The mum dies after giving birth to twins, and they get called bewitched, so it's a very different start to this movie for sure. 20 years pass, we receive a monk in this movie, who I'm saying now is just such an utter bore. The monk is usually the comic relief in these movies, but not this one. He's talking to this other dude about King Gareth's successor, because just having a dragon means you become a king. I mean, who's gonna really argue against him when he's got a dragon as a friend? But more importantly, we see murals on the wall depicting all the baby dragons all grown up, all looking very different. They're pretty cool designs, honestly. But more importantly, one of these paintings is Draco. Okay, that's awesome. Until you remember something. Here's a better look at it, like they have much better images online, as they're like, yeah, proper artworks, which are really, really cool. But they also have names written on them, including Draco. But, big problem, that's not his name. That's the name Bowen gave to him. They made it very clear in the first movie his name is in Dragonheart. It is impossible for humans to really say. So the fact they call him Draco here, again, tells me they didn't pay attention to the details.
I have a name.
Well, what is it?
You couldn't possibly pronounce it in your tongue.
Bowen giving his name Draco being a kind of important bonding moment where we learn about the stars. So how could you forget about that?
No, I would be honored to be named after those stars. I truly would. Thank you, Bowen. Draco.
This is a major screw up to me, and once again says to me they don't care, they're just doing their own stories. They want to keep going until they make a big budget remake of the original, but in what sense? At this point, it'll be a completely different story, especially if there's only 6 or so dragons in the world, but yet there's multiple dragon slayers in the original. Iron's dad was one of the fiercest dragon slayers, but that's not possible in this story. It would take away so much from the original. There won't be a bonding moment of Bowen giving Draco's name. Who was the scarred one that Bowen killed in the beginning?
So it was you who killed the scarred one. She and I were the last.
Keep in mind they would have been raised as siblings, so why would he refer to him as the scarred one and not as brother or sister? Also calling them friends, not family, so yeah, that's another thing. How was Drake born? Draco got with one of his siblings? That's how they're making it seem. Yeah, maybe not blood related, we don't really know that, but again, raised as such. They're making it seem like these are the only dragons that exist, which again, doesn't work. Where's Griffin? He isn't one of them. Are they erasing the second movie altogether? Which, very rude of you, how dare you? I would be okay with this if in one of the other movies had more comets coming down so there's more dragons in this world. You really need to fix this, Ryder. I know you're doing your own thing, but for the love of God, just watch the first movie at least once to get an understanding of this world in details. Like for one, his name isn't Draco. You can't claim to love the original, but forget basic facts. Anyway, Gareth is old and dying, but there's no successor. Him and his son don't get along very well. The Queen's dead, so yeah, there's just no one. Once in his room, the not monk dude is talking as though he wants the crown for himself and like kinda making him out to be a villain, and that Drago had his chance to help him, but then Drago comes in and does agree, but there's something different about him. Take a look.
We shared many adventures.
So yes, sad moment, but look how different he looks. Like they drastically changed his design. He still has a lot of the same horns and spikes in the same places, like he really does there, but they made him much less angry looking. Which, cool, but I kinda dig that design afterwards. I do get used to this one though. You could say it's age taking away some of the colour, but more so he seems softer, nicer, kid-friendly. I really don't mind the design if it was some other dragon, but it's the same dragon, so it just makes me just eh. Anyway, yeah, it's all sad, but not sad enough. Like, I want Drago to lay his head down on Gareth, like, or just something. At least let Gareth say goodbye to him. Like, this is not a friend's death. This is a death of an acquaintance. I never really saw their friendship in the other movie, and apparently they didn't either. Like, my god, let male friends hug on their deathbed at least. God. Also, sorry, I know I'm ranting, but don't dragons live for a very long time? Like, isn't that one of their things? So shouldn't there, like, dragon's heart bonding to a human make the human live longer? That's how I've always seen it, to be honest. So that's kind of my little thing, but I also don't like this then. Oh, by the way, he is voiced by Patrick Stewart in this one, so that's kind of awesome.
Truly, he was exceptional.
Which I did forget to mention the other dragons. My apologies on that. Like, Drake was voiced by Robbie Benson, who also voiced the Beast in Beauty of the Beast, so that's kind of neat. And the last movie, he was voiced by Ben Kingsley. Moving on, Drago sees him as a failure with Gareth and his son not liking each other, so he believes he won't go to Dragon Heaven. And before a successor can be named, they both die. Well, maybe not both.
I am still bonded.
Drago is still bonded, so he leaves to find out what's going on. And then we are introduced to this very strong, very arrogant child.
Peter! How's your sister?
And I do mean strong. It's revealed he has scales along his backside, so he's one of the children. Drago comes down and hides as a walk to figure out who he's bonded to, but pretty quickly knows who. His name is Edric, by the way. Drago reveals himself to him, and Edric seems to hate dragons thanks to his father's teaching he mentions as he fights with Drago. Drago understands now his father was Gareth's son. He tells of his father that he didn't want to become a knight and Gareth was too busy running a kingdom and dealing with 7 young dragons. Like I said, raised like siblings. So he preferred his mother, who was bonded with the dragon, but the dragon, being a bit dumb, flew into a thunderstorm, got struck by lightning, and died, and so then she did as well. Drago tried to help, but he left the kingdom, blaming the dragons for his misery. So now Edric comes to the castle as the next in line to the throne and is very happy to be king.
I knew I was meant to do more than simply hide away, to use my strengths for a greater cause. I'm king?
Drago wants to understand the bond between them, and then we get a little montage of Edric being king, and being a pretty decent one at that. At one point, Drago stabs himself to see what would happen to Edric, but he doesn't react. So their bond is different. The monk dude tries to figure it out, and Drago's reaction is kind of great.
Draconic blood has given him this great strength.
Yes, but how can you explain the fact that he's an arrogant snout?
Edric behaves, giving us a better look at the scales on his back, and Drago comes in wanting to understand their bond, and even swats him with his tail to make him feel pain, but he doesn't. Which now he does say he has a twin sister named Meg, who has scales up along her face and is considered a freak. She has a different ability to his and can manipulate fire. So yeah, this is a very different story, but that's not a bad thing. It's kind of interesting for Bond being passed down in this way, giving him dragon abilities. That's kind of neat. I don't mind this idea. So anyway, while he is accepted into society, the sister accidentally burned down their house with her father inside. Whoops. So he helped her get away, but stayed where he was to protect her. Suddenly, Vikings attack, with one clear villain of the bunch. All while, Edric is dealing with someone that wants to put on a play, but then he finds out about Vikings and is very excited to do some fighting.
They are fierce warriors, and they march this way.
Yes, excellent.
So now the classic gathering on two sides, Edric being very stubborn wants to fight their leader. And dun dun dun, it's his sister. Did not see that coming, I guess, I don't know. I don't really care. She shows how her fire magic has grown, though. One dude accidentally shoots an arrow at her and it hurts Drago, so now they definitely know who she is. So now the two get to talking, blah blah, it's really, really boring. She mentions that she can control fire, but not make it, and asks Drago how he does. His neck and chest start to glow as he mentions the heartfire. Oh, that's why this movie is called Battle of Heartfire. Ah. This is how he's able to breathe fire, but it's also like a life-giving force they can share with one other in some way that's not really... I don't understand how that part of it works.
The heartfire, source of our breath, and the life-giving force that a dragon can share with someone.
And, isn't that just your heart? There's now actually two things that dragons can share. This is just really dumb. This is really dumb. I don't mind the idea of the heartfire kind of thing, you know, it's just like him having a fire lung, which is basically what they said in the second movie. He has like a fire lung and an ice lung. And that's kind of the same idea in a way, I guess, but it's dumb. It's dumb. So basically, she was born first, and so what's the phone? And goddamn brings up her sex into her that she's female, so she isn't allowed on the phone? Is that what you're telling me? And it's just, oh, for goodn's sake, like... When the hell did he mention anything to do with that, and was this needed? No, it's not. Of course it's not.
You can't sit on my throne.
Because I'm a woman. Do you think that if I had your strength and you my fire, that they would have cheered for me and shunned you when we were younger?
Okay, I automatically hate her now for randomly bringing that up when that has nothing to do with it. It's because he's king. Simple as that. It's too late for you. They crowned him king already, so he got there first. That's all it was. Drogo suggests they just sleep on it. But in the morning, the Vikings sneak in while Meg uses her abilities to steal the heartfire for Drogo, somehow not waking him in the process, but sure, and bottles up, because sure, why not? And then fighting. The dude who tried to be king at the start protects Edric and dies, so that was all pointless, making him out to be a villain or something. I don't know. And then the villain dude comes in, and I don't understand what he's saying, but it sounds so freaking stupid. Like, what happened to his voice here?
You ready for a monster? You ready for a monster? You ready for a monster? You ready for a monster?
Drogo tries to use his fire, but he is able to, with Meg having it. She tries to burn Drogo with it, which then just burns herself, but then does it again, and is perfectly fine, while it makes Drogo come crashing down, meaning it hurt a lot. So dumb. Not at all how that would work. You know, they share pain, and so the amount of pain he suffers would be the same that she suffers. So dumb. So dumb. Either way, she is going crazy and finally stops when she is yelled at by her brother. They're all being chained up, and even Edric points out how stupid this all is.
Just to be clear, she just walked right up to you and took your fire. Just like that. That was easy.
And then he is punched, and it hurts, but he's super strong and never gets hurt by a punch. So what's their excuse?
Like a leggy worm.
Well, that shut you up. Seems his strength nearly matches yours.
Seriously? Lazy writing. Absolutely lazy writing. You can't make rules that this dude is so strong he could throw people halfway across the field, that dragons and humans' pains are the same, yet make the human not get hurt as much the second time. Like, you can't do that. That's writing 101. Don't break rules for no reason. But oh, he's strong too. By human standards, sure. But Edric has the strength of the dragon. So she's being all bitchy as Edric then advocates a phone and gives it to his sister, who then has the guards rip apart his clothing to show his scaly back to show they're not so different. I mean, one's a sexist female dog, the other one is a pretty good dude. Just saying. So she banishes him from the world, the villain dude wanting to make sure he never returns. And more sexist shit.
Boys.
No, not boys. All the maids are women, and it's their duty to clean up the castle and make sure everything is good for the king, so it's their fault it looks like that. Just saying. And then she randomly helps out one of them, being a bad actor, crying because she helps other women because she's a sexist. Sorry, I hate these kind of female characters with a passion. Can you tell? Like, I'm all for women's rights. I am. I swear I am. I am all for women. But you can't make them sexist towards men at the same time. Because then that's the exact same thing as men being sexist towards women. If you have women being sexist towards men, then how's it any different? It's not equality. It's not. It's just... it's them being in charge, disgusted by men for every little thing, and not realizing the people that they can be too. Just saying. Edric is getting some help, but it was a setup. Blah blah blah. She is shown not to care about the Vikings, so she doesn't need their help anymore. And then is training the women how to fight, and it's just so obvious what they're doing here. She doesn't care about the gross looking men, so she's helping out all the women though. Edric is on a boat with Vikings now while Meg and Drago talk a little, him mentioning how he feels cold without the heartfire, and how Edric says them being apart has been hard, while we get a flashback to her past and how hard she has had it. The monk shows up afterwards and helps free Drago. Edric gets free of his binds, breaking the boat a bit, but it's okay, he shoves a dude through a hole to block it up. Drago saves him in not the greatest CGI moment. It's not the best. It's definitely the worst in this film.
Edric! Grab hold!
And then the Vikings go to help out the dude in the hole, and it's honestly funny.
Don't pull him out! We'll sink!
The villain dude is now going all evil and is just going to take over the castle without Meg's help. And now, the one bonding moment, woo, as they lay on the grass, Timon and Pumbaa style, and look up at the stars with the theme playing lightly. It's not used a lot in this movie, and when it is, I can barely hear it.
You see the dragon shape in the stars? Draco.
Then the one that wanted to start a play shows up with his crew and realizes it's the king. We get a little scene of Meg showing her dad her power, which he of course doesn't like. Now Edric is joking with a play group and calls Drago friend for saving him, and so he is showing he's becoming better towards the dragon. But admits he lied. He was clearly angry with Meg as he just wanted to live his life and made it seem like he stayed behind to protect her, when in reality she thought he was going with him the entire time. Drago is becoming sick and realizes he's dying without the heartfire, so now they sneak into the castle with the play people. So, it's night time, play happens, Edric sneaks off while a Viking woman goes up to kill the queen now. Edric stops her, but Meg fakes him by trying to kill him, so she gets away with a heartfire. Drago finally coming out from his rock to help, but she throws it down to the villain dude before Drago can get to it. The twins argue.
She was gonna kill you! Oh, great. Now a load of Vikings. Please don't point that so close to me.
And admittedly, they get what they deserve as Drago saves them.
Trying to go!
Tell him to put us down!
Do it so I can punch her in the face!
Enough!
So the two talk while Drago being absolutely just sick of them, and it is kind of funny.
Being related to you is dangerous to one's health. Your rivalry must end today.
He tells them to just fight to the death, and the winner gets everything. He really does just leave them to fight. That is kind of hilarious. That is like this is literally just like the one decently good, funny moment in the film. But then the two just boringly fight. As they argue, they end up in the place they remember as kids, and Meg tells him it was he who killed his dad. She was the one protecting him the whole time, and even set the house on fire so that he could live a normal life. So basically, if they just talk to each other, this wouldn't be a problem. So the two make up, and she agrees to help Drago, who is too weak to fight back, so it's all up to them. Somehow Edric just pops up there to fight at one point with the villain and challenges him to a duel. Well, of course, Meg rescues a woman and gives them up to fight. Even though Edric is shown winning, he suddenly loses, even with his super strength, and needs a woman's help. But Meg is shot by an arrow, which also takes down Drago. So, everything ain't going so great. We get some intense music as they grab each other, and it just looks so dumb. It looks so dumb. And so the villain wins again. Why is he so strong compared to someone with the strength of a dragon? Bad writing, that's why. Oh, and then the villain dude drinks the fire and lights himself up like a human torch. And Eric just grabs a sword and stabs him. That's it, he's dead. The Vikings just kind of won off and that's it. I really just realized they really got rid of the whole, knight thing in this movie. He's not a knight. He's not anything. They really got rid of that. Meg is now lying there dying. Yay! But they get the heartfire and they go to give it to Drago, but he doesn't want it. He wants them to live. So basically they do a dragon bond together? I don't understand. I don't. It's just something that Drago said, and they do something and he gives them the heartfire, and so she lives. But then they also lose their powers and scales, of course, very conveniently. While Drago dies with the theme coming in, but thanks to his sacrifice to save her, he goes up to heaven. And I do try to make it reminiscent of the first movie, so I can at least appreciate that. That, you get why? Then suddenly movie ends. I don't like this movie. I don't like this movie a whole lot. I hate Meg so much. I like Patrick Stewart as Drago. That's a really cool choice to get as an actor. That's a very good choice. He can be funny now and then, but then it's just barely any comedy. There's no bonding. There's no Dragonheart moment. There's no knights. There's nothing in here that screams Dragonheart to me. It's an okay movie on its own, with its own charm. It is charming. Don't get me wrong about it. But as a sequel, prequel thing to Dragonheart 1 and 2, and I guess 3, it sucks. I generally only tolerate it because I love Dragonheart, and just those little things. Like, I love the dragon in this movie. That's about it. But I have to admit, this movie is like a 4 out of 10 to me. That's my score, 4 out of 10. Ta-da! Like, yeah, the only thing I generally like is the dragon. That's it. If I hadn't focused so much on the twins arguing and sexism and all this stuff, it would have been okay. Like, the stuff I do like, but there's so much I don't like. The whole heartfire thing being like this other power thing dragons could give to humans makes them kind of OP, weird, kind of like, what else can they do? You know? They already do the heart thing. It's like they needed to do something magical with this movie not having a heart moment. And then at the end making, like, the twins bond? I don't understand how that worked. Because apparently they both have dragon hearts, so they kind of just bonded their hearts together, even though they would have half hearts, not full dragon hearts. So I don't understand. I guess they made it one. I don't know. I don't know. It's a way to keep her alive so he can die a noble death. But it's just dumb. Then, of course, the whole Draco thing kind of just makes me go, yeah, you guys didn't pay attention to the last movies. Even though they won't, the third movie, which I don't generally... I like that movie. Again, I gave it like a 7 out of 10. I don't generally mind that movie too much, but I much prefer 1 and 2. Even 2 is so much more accurate. Even though it does its own things, it's so much more accurate, so much more Dragonheart. It's like, that movie actually deserves so much more respect than you think. I'm sorry, yeah, I am actually just real moody. It is just a very mad movie. The only good thing is the dragon. So if you like dragons, go for it, but I don't recommend this movie either way. At this point, I got one more left, and I have seen it once, and I generally did enjoy it. I actually did enjoy that, but I am seeing these movies with new eyes, being a lot more critical of them and understanding, seeing them one after another. So I'm very curious to see what I'll think about this movie. Anyway, if you enjoyed this review, and even if you didn't, give it a like and subscribe to our channel. Subscribe to our channel because I'll love you if you do. Hit that bell icon, and this fox says, be who you want to be. Alright guys, bye for now.